Welcome back, everybody. My name is Ronan from the Reality Forecast channel, and I'm joined with Liz Cross. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Liz can be found at psychiclizcross.com and patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And Liz, there's a lot of news about the Titanic and a lot of conspiracy theories, and I thought we could dig deep into see what's true and what's not. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you. Yes. And I don't understand what the pull is of this ship. I really don't. I mean, you guys will have to tell us in the comments, but why is this ship still pulling us in by its, mystery? I don't get it. Do you get it, Ronan?
I don't know. I can't swim, so I don't know what the appeal is. I would be done. I would be toast if I were on the Titanic and it sank.
You can't swim?
No. Let's see what the fire extinguisher conspiracy theorists say about it. Let's see. It was an inside job to collect the insurance money.
Ooh.
Did the Titanic really sink? I guess is the first question. Or was it its sister ship, the RMS Olympic, disguised as the Titanic for an insurance fraud?
Was it disguised as an insurance fraud? No. I'm actually asking the Titanic itself. Let's ask this question. Would you have this type of information? No. So we've got to figure out who to probe in this one, Ronan.
The International Mercantile Group, controlled by American banker J.P. Morgan.
Oh, J.P. Morgan.
We could do J.P. Morgan, the American banker, since he's at the heart and the root of this conspiracy theory. Did you plot to kill John Jacob Astor by taking down the Titanic, the ship that he was on?
No. He wanted to make money off of this. This was going to be a big money maker for them, like this luxury travel, taking loads of people back and forth. No, this was going to be a big money maker. And what I'm picking up is once they had enough money, they were actually going to buy or invest in building another one. And so they were going to run 2 or 3 boats or ships across the Atlantic. So no, I'm getting a no on that. Good question.
Wasn't part of an elaborate murder plot to kill Guggenheim and John Jacob Astor?
Why would they want to kill these people?
I don't know. It's a lot of books can be written about it. There's a mummy curse. A German U-boat torpedoed the Titanic. That one sounds like a comic book.
Oh, God. Well, but there's obviously some basis for these theories. So was it a murder plot? No, it was a mistake. I'm getting it was a sheer mistake. Now, what we should probe is the ego of the captain.
We could probe the ego of the captain. Let's see where the captain is. Captain Titanic. Captain. Where is there? There he is. I'd say Edward Smith, the sea captain.
I have him.
More information about him.
I have him here.
Does he watch over? Does he haunt the Titanic seabed?
Do you haunt the Titanic seabed? No, he's in the spirit world.
What happened? What was the calamity? What was it? Did you just not see the iceberg? Was it really an iceberg?
Was it really an iceberg? Ooh, his answer is alleged. So did you actually see the iceberg? He didn't actually see the iceberg. I feel like he's telling me somebody else was in charge at that time. why did you press on full steam ahead? Because he wanted to make good time. Did you have a large ego? Extremely large in this lifetime. So again, as we saw on the submersible, those large egos, right? They met their doom. So did our captain here.
Could
And
anything have been done differently?
Could anything have been done differently? No, it was already too late once they hit the iceberg. They didn't have, obviously, everybody knows this. You don't need to be have a medium tell you this, but he's telling me they obviously didn't have enough life jackets. They didn't have enough boats. They were far away. They didn't have enough, enough help on time. And it was a major disaster. And at that point, he's telling me, instead of a captain like springing to action, the overwhelming sense of impending doom, it actually made him react totally the opposite. So some people, when they're under a lot of pressure, they can react very productively, but not him. It was like, oh my God. And his mind was just blown. Like he couldn't really make decisions. He just wanted to run and hide. He couldn't understand why this was happening. This is the ship that was never supposed to fail.
Had he been drinking when it hit the iceberg, or was he asleep?
Had you been drinking? No, not when it hit. No, he had not been drinking. He took his job very seriously, but his ego got the better of him. Do you feel responsible for all those deaths? And he says, yes, entirely, wholly, 100% responsible for every single death that happened on the Titanic. And he will reap that karma in many lifetimes to come. Ooh.
Did he have previous incarnations as a seafaring traveler or captain, or was this his first time? He looks very established. Reminds me of Ernest Hemingway there in his distinguished look.
Did you have any previous lifetimes as a captain? Yes, several lifetimes on the boat, captain. He always goes to the seas. Always. Ooh, were you involved? Did you reincarnate in the submersible episode? No, he wasn't there.
Someone asked if he was Scully, the captain, or Stully that landed on the ocean. I don't know if he's incarnated as a pilot or not.
Scully? Oh, you mean him? Yes. Airline pilot Scully, yes. Were you him? No, he wasn't. But he smokes a cigar to Scully. He says, "Well done."
Was he being forced to take a course that he didn't think was advisable, or being pushed by anybody to make the run more quickly, to make it seem like, would still capture the news attention?
Oh, were you being pushed to take a course that you didn't want to take? He says, we took the easiest and fastest route. Were you being pushed for time? Yes. So the people that were behind the Titanic really wanted to make headlines as not only like the most luxurious vessel, but also the fastest. So that was really important. He did have a lot of pressure to make time. And what do you think now about that pressure? He says, I was wrong. You should never put people's lives at stake for the sake of making good time. It's better to take it slow and steady. Would you, if you had gone slow, do you think that you could have missed that iceberg? No. He says, no, it was doomed. Like, we would have hit the iceberg, but do you think the damage would have been minimized? No, because it was meant to happen. I knew he was going to say that. It was all meant to happen. This whole thing was already pre-written. all these people that died on the Titanic, that was all meant to happen. They all contracted it in their lifetimes. And but why was this? What is the lesson behind so many people? And it's a lesson of ego. And unfortunately, it's a lesson in ego. But what is so interesting is we haven't learned that lesson yet, even though we've seen the movies, we've read the books, we've heard the stories, and it could be this and it could be that. It's all down to big egos will kill you. And I think the submersible is another reminder. We've got to have, at a conscious mind level, the universe is saying, we got to have death of the ego. The ego is dangerous, especially when it comes to our spiritual path and our spiritual journey. So this is all about death of the ego.
Yeah, it sounds like a sequel might be in the ranks. Let's see another one. He doesn't know about that. He was definitely wanting to create a speed record. The official inquiries were Freemasons whitewash, says American investigation. Was it a whitewash of the truth, or did the truth really come out? Asking Edward Smith about it.
Whitewash of the truth? No, the truth really did come out. Truth was reported back then. Not now. Not now. Now it's all smoke and mirrors, but you had more truthful reporting.
Let's see if we can pull up some of the survivors of the Titanic and see. Well, I don't know about those guys. Those guys did not make it. Where are some survivor stories here?
Well, the unsinkable Molly Brown.
All right. The unsinkable Molly Brown. I think I've had her somewhere. I've heard of her, or I saw a picture of her.
Well, she was allegedly, according to the story, I'm not into the Titanic very much. I'm sorry about that. But according to the story, she was new money and she was trying to fit in with the old money. Okay, let's see. Let's get the unsinkable Molly Brown in.
There
and
she see
is.
How she was so floatable, I guess.
I've got her. This is great. What are we asking?
What was her profession during her heyday in life?
What was your profession during her heyday? She came into a lot of money. I feel like it was through businesses. And she's saying to me, mostly charitable organizations were her profession.
What's her recommendation on how to get money? Just inherit it, or?
No, she says you have to work hard. Work hard and spend less. She's hard. Listen, her personality, as I'm talking to her, is very strong.
Great wealth in mining. What happened? Let's go through her experience on the Titanic. What was she feeling? What was her exact experience like?
What was your exact experience like? Sheer terror. Sheer terror. When you're on a boat that you know that is sinking, that people are going to die, and that there's nothing anyone can do about it. You don't know how long you're going to have. And when you're pulling away from the boat in the lifeboat, your heart is breaking because the poor people that are going to be left behind. And you also have to ask yourself, why me? She says. Why is it that God chose me to survive, but all of these other people are to die? Why me?
Let's look at her life contract and see if we have an answer to that question.
She's gone down on ships before. That's very interesting because she's showing me like she was one of the early explorers as a male. She has a very masculine personality, a very strong personality. And she says, I've been on these things before. She was on a merchant ship a long time ago. She actually, this was not the first lifetime that she had come into money. She ran like a merchant company, but she was a male in that previous lifetime. And she was, a spice trader, a merchant trader. And one of the ships went down. She
Did
says,
she survive that or lose her life?
did you survive that? No, she didn't survive that. She went down. And she says, we thought we were unstoppable. And we were pillaging the, the natural resources of various countries. And it was wrong, she says. But obviously there was a demand and there was a need for those materials. And she was, she was down, she went down with the ship as a male. She was a male in that lifetime.
What's behind her drive to reincarnate on ships or reincarnate in general?
Ooh, because to reincarnate on ships, because you're not powerful, right? You're trying to be powerful in the ocean where you're not powerful at all. Anything can go wrong, she says. And it's almost like an empowerment. You're trying to find this power over navigating the waters when you've got everything stacked against you. Anything could happen. And you're out in the middle of nowhere. No one's coming. No, you know what I mean? If you're out far, so it's about finding empowerment and confidence. And it's a huge challenge to navigate waters. But she says, I'm not coming back on a ship ever again. I'm done with that. She says, now I'm on to new adventures. Will you have money? And yeah, now, see, that's interesting to me that all of her lifetimes subsequent from this one, and of course, before, we've now discovered she's going to have money. And I'm saying, why is it that you contract in your soul to have a lot of money? And she says, because I'm a good steward of money. And that I build businesses and I employ people and I don't try to hoard it. She says, when you're trying to hoard money, that's when it blocks the flow of money. But if you release money into the universe, you're releasing it, you know that it's always going to come back. So as long as you're doing good things with money. Now, let me put a disclaimer in there. Does that mean Liz says go ahead and give away all of your money? No, it does not. But she's saying to me, if you're trying to hoard money for your own selfish gain, you're going to meet a bad ending. Those are her words, not mine.
Is she incarnated now?
No.
Is she planning to come back at any point in the near term?
Yes.
Why?
Because she has unfinished business. She's still trying to ascend like we all are. That's what we're all working for on a soul level. We're trying to ascend into the next realm and the next one and the next one. And then we don't have to reincarnate anymore. Then we have jobs to do in the spirit world. And then, but we're still trying to ascend by how well we do those jobs. And eventually, so the game is played, we get reabsorbed back into source. We go home. That's what it means by going home. Going into the spirit world is only temporary. We keep coming back, she says. And the end goal is to be reabsorbed back into source. You don't have to play the war anymore. But I'm saying, but at that point, does source ever allow you to separate again? No, you've already fulfilled it. It's like you filled in that piece of the puzzle, and then it's a new piece of the puzzle that has to be cut from source and made into a soul, and then start the whole reincarnation cycle again. But you actually don't have to do that once you've been reabsorbed back into source.
An interesting Titanic metaphor, isn't it?
Oh, I never even thought of that. Oh my God. That just gave me chills. That just gave me chills. Let's ask her this question. Why do you think the Titanic is so fascinating? Because there's so many unanswered questions. It's just one of those life's great mysteries that will always be drawing people in. She says, we'll never find the full answers because people are trying to make the actual answers more complex than what it seems. She says, even when the boat was going down, there were a lot of life lessons to be learned. There was the terror. And then, of course, when you made it out alive, you felt guilt, and you're watching the other people go down and drown and die. And why is it some souls are worth more than others? Some people are worth more than others. Why is it some got to live, some got to die? How could a massive mistake like this be made? Like, it was pure, raw emotion when that boat was going down. And it brought out the worst in people. It brought out the best in people. And it was, you can't mask it, because she's saying we spend our lives trying to mask our emotions. And when you're faced with circumstances like that, there's no masking. The masks are off. The nasties are the nasties, and the goods are, the good people are the good people. And you're looking at the pure soul of the person.
There's a macabre fascination with the place of rest for all these people that perished on the Titanic. And it's, I don't know, it's disturbing to me. I don't get it. But does that macabre sense of infatuation or intrigue give power to the dark, in her opinion?
Yes, absolutely. Because you're being drawn into a graveyard in very dangerous circumstances. It's unreal. It's unbelievable, she says, in this day and age, that people still want to put their lives at risk to see something that killed loads of people. But I'm saying, okay, but these types of places, for whatever reason, always fascinate people. I mean, there's Auschwitz. People go to Auschwitz all the time. She says that's a whole different level of death. So she considers that a whole different thing. That was murder. This was accident. But I'm saying, but really, because the captain made a bad judgment call to go faster, even though it was all written and predetermined, would you not consider that murder too? And she says, no, it was a genuine, honest mistake. But I'm saying, yeah, but if somebody gets behind the wheel of a car and they have good intentions, but they accidentally kill someone, she says, well, you have to rely on the karma. So that makes sense to me. Just as the captain said he will pay that karmic debt for many lifetimes to come. But murder is murder.
We thank the unsinkable Molly Brown for coming back up and letting us know what it was like, because that experience in the Titanic. And Liz, thanks for bringing her voice and the voice of the captain into us to see what it was like back then, a million years ago.
Gosh.
It was like 110 years ago, but a long time ago.
You know they're going to correct you in the comments, Ronan. It's 111.
They don't get jokes. I don't know. But thank you, Liz. And thank you, Molly Brown and Captain Smith.
Yeah.
Let's do this again sometime.
Yes, please.